Hello, Earth 39 podcast. I am here with the Grand Empire of the Boys, Grand Emperor, Kronos, a.k.a. at pissedchris, as you might know him on TikTok. What's up, man?
Yes. What's up, man? We
How are you
chilling.
doing? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Quarantine's been treating me all right, actually.
So, speaking of quarantine, sometimes I do that at the end, sometimes I do it at the beginning. What are like some movies or TV shows you've watched during quarantine?
I recently got back into anime. I watched it freshman year. Like I was pretty heavy weeb like freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
But then I got back into it recently, and I watched the third season of Sword Art Online. And I love Sword Art Online. It's got a special place in my heart.
Oh,
And yeah, so I watched the third season of Sword Art Online. I really liked it. I'm waiting for the last episode to come out sometime, and I'm guessing fall because it got postponed.
mhm.
And then I've watched just been watching Tarantino movies over again because I've seen them all, but
Yeah.
I just rewatched a couple of them, and I haven't really been watching that many things. Watched American Psycho twice already during quarantine.
Dude, I've been watching Wolf of Wall Street so much. So I
Yeah,
feel you there. Like we both have that shared love of just like
yeah. American Psycho is definitely probably my Wolf of Wall Street.
yeah.
Although I wouldn't say it's my favorite movie of all time, it's definitely one of my favorites, and it's got a special place in my heart because
Yeah.
it's a very niche movie.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and it's got a lot to say, and there's a lot of things to notice. So it's always a thrill to watch it because there's new things you can notice every time.
Those are the movies that are the best, and that's why people love Tarantino and stuff is
Yeah,
because
definitely.
every time you come back there's something new.
I've already watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood twice more. I saw it in theater, but I watched it twice more as of recent, just to watch it again. Definitely apparent that he has a foot fetish in that movie.
It's apparent, and I feel like a lot of his movies. That was actually, believe it or not, like that was the first Tarantino movie I saw was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Wow, really? Dude, Tarantino
Yeah,
movies
right,
are
dude. Like I've just recently, just recently been watching a lot of Tarantino too. But like from that first movie, I walked out of the theater and I looked at my dad and I said, "Dad, I think Quentin Tarantino has a foot fetish." And my dad went, "No, he doesn't."
yeah, he
And then
definitely does.
we Googled it and I was
That's
like,
his most, like, I see in other movies too. He's got it like a couple like instances in like Kill Bill, um stuff like that, but like it's most notable in that movie. Like, dude, it's like
"Yeah."
undeniable in that movie. It's like, jeez.
It's like, okay, buddy, tone it down a little bit. It was
Yeah,
fine when it was kind of like a will they, won't they? Do you have a foot fetish? Maybe you don't have a foot
yeah,
fetish.
and that movie, like it was like zooming in on them every single time. I was like, bro, like, please.
I hate feet personally.
Yeah, they're disgusting to me,
They
but
disgust me. It's hard, dude. It's hard to watch those
he's a
movies.
genius, so he's always got to have some weird things.
Yeah, everyone who's smart always like it's one of two things. They're either weird or they're like just not.
Or insane usually. They're either weird or insane. Like, for instance, like Ted Kaczynski, dude. I've read most of his writings. And I read the manifesto, and then I read his prison writings a lot. And the guy is extremely smart, and he's got some really good points to make. And he's not. I think people mistake Kaczynski for a straight up anarchist. He's not. Um, he even thrashes on anarchism. He just points out the flaws in like every political system, left, right, south of the x-axis, north of the x-axis on the political diagram. He doesn't really take a side on anything. He just points out the flaws and everything, and he's very smart about it. But he's super smart. But I mean, he thought the only way to get any notoriety was by sending bombs to people in the mail.
Yeah,
I mean, so it's like the guy's super smart, but he has that flaw, which is murdering people.
exactly. And like I was gonna say, I mean, you said weird or insane. I guess you could add the third one of they're just kind of like a D-bag. Like they're just not a good person.
Yeah, like
Steve Jobs is one.
yeah, Steve Jobs is definitely one. Steve Jobs is a massive jerk.
Yeah.
What was, but yeah,
Yeah.
that is true.
Was known to be. Like, I
Bill
mean,
Gates is smart, but he's like crazy globalist. Like, he thinks that everyone should have chips in their heads. Uh,
that is
like,
true.
so it's like, yeah, I
There's
mean,
always a catch, man. There's always a catch. It's like the Twilight Zone with people and with things. It's just like no one's 100%. Like, there's never going to be a person where you're like, I 100% agree with everything this person stands for.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like it's not, we don't live like that. There's no person with the same buildup of likes, interest, the same brain buildup just because of, you know,
Yeah.
different experiences. But yeah, I mean, it really is kind of crazy. So, I mean, let's just jump right into videos. I mean, like, starting out, what was that like? Like, take me through young Chris, his mind starting out. What was your first big video? You just blew up.
On TikTok, that would have been, well, okay. The first thing where I thought, wow, this is kind of blowing up a little bit, even though it wasn't in relative terms, it wasn't. But I got 11K on a video, and it was a duet video of me making fun of someone, which is my thing, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a duet video, and I think it was like some cheerleader. It was a thought. Yeah, it was a thought. I did a thought duet, and that's what I did, and I got like 11K. And I thought I was like, wow, 11K, like, dude, that's a lot of people. I've never heard of 11K. Because what I've noticed is it's very, 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 it's a lot easier to get viral on TikTok than any other app. And like 11K is like 500 on YouTube. Like 11K on TikTok is like 500 on YouTube.
Exactly. It's crazy.
So like it's relative. So like, a 100K on TikTok is like only a couple thousand in relative terms, you know. I guess
I would
like
say
5,000.
100K is probably like 10,000.
I would even say like 5,000. Like it's I think that 100K isn't that much. There's more like 5,000 views on YouTube.
Because I don't know who's following me, if it's bots or they're not showing them my videos or what's happening.
Well, yeah, a lot of people just don't use their following tab.
Yeah, that's true.
I've noticed that, and I think somebody did a poll on it, and people just don't use their following tab that much. So that's why you have to like. That's why I recently have like developed a specific unique character for my content, because that actually brings people back. So like when I just would post funny duets or just random funny videos that had no like coherence to them, it would be super spotty. I'd get like 200 views on a video, and the next one I get like 300,000. But
by the time this video releases, I'm going to be making a whole video on, you know, a lot of different things about my account. But like by the time this video releases, I'm changing the structure of my whole account. It's each month. There's going to be a different story, and it's going to be split into just 1-minute videos that come out daily. They're all part of however many days that month is story. And, you know, it's 30 parts and it has an ending. And
yeah, I like that. Yeah. I'm like my identity before was like the duet roast guy. People just thought me the guy that like destroys people in duets or whatever. Mm-hmm. But then all those videos went super viral. Like all my duets would get 20K minimum.
Yeah.
But then I got bored of making duets because they're low effort and stuff like that. And I didn't really like making them anymore, so I didn't make as many, and those were the only videos that got any views. But now I kind of shifted it to a mix of that and then content for the boys. And like now I've shifted from people just liking a certain type of my content to people liking me as a character, which is where you want to be. Like you want people to know you, not just say, oh, he's that guy that does the duets. Like people know me like as Kronos or Chris or whatever. Like they know my character and they like me as a character, so they'll come back to see whatever I make. Mm-hmm. Like it doesn't matter what I make, they're coming here for my personality, which is what you want to get to. And that's why I blew up so much, and that's why all my videos are getting decent views no matter what they are. I've been posting random stuff the past few days and to kind of test this, and it's worked. I mean, I get 10K on every video almost, and I never had that before. It's like even a video of me I filmed 2 videos of me just eating ice cream. And I got 10K on them because people come back to my videos. People like actually look up my page.
Yeah. So I knew about you. Like before you had reached out to me. I mean, you reached out. You followed me, which was weird because like I don't really do a lot of duet roasts or anything. You know, like you just followed me.
Yeah.
And then I DM'd you and I was like, hey, and then you didn't respond. And then like 2 weeks later, I got a DM from you. about joining the Grand Empire of the Boys, and I was like, that sounds awesome, man.
Yeah, I just I DMs are rough for me because I turn off all my notifications for TikTok because I like it spams me.
Me
And
too, man.
I
Me
get
too.
like right now, my DMs on everything are spammed. I've cleared out a lot. So I still have like 100 unopened Insta DMs. I was at like 600.
Hmm.
Um, I've had a ton of snaps. I have a couple thousand on Discord, a couple thousand unopened DMs.
Wow.
And yeah, it's just when one video blew up, I was getting 1,000 DMs an hour on certain things, and it was just like a lot. And I just spent a couple days just clearing through them and looking at every single one of them.
Yeah, I slowly started to realize, like, just even being a Grand Emperor, not a grand part of the Grand Council of the
Mm-hmm.
Grand Empire of the Boys. Like, I started to get people who were like reaching out and saying stuff, like wanted me to sign off on things, and I'm like, dude, whoa. And like, here's the thing, because I don't want to, I told you I'm gonna have a story. The story's gonna be there, but there's gonna be stories within the story. There's gonna be one character who's just GEB related, who's
Mm-hmm.
like this Deadpool Wolf of Wall Street mix who just pops up. He'll pop up in my account. So that's
Yeah.
going to be there. You'll see that a lot for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So does this character that you've created, does that character, do you give it a name? Is it different than Chris? Is it pissedchris?
That's like my Emperor Kronos character. So okay, so like pissedchris is like my character as a whole, and it's like my moreover my like duet stuff and like stuff like that, and then my like GEB like editing type videos are more of Emperor Kronos. So like they're kind of two different characters to a degree. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
still person, but like they're kind of like one's more serious. Like the Emperor Kronos character is more serious and like stuff like that. Um, serious tone and stuff like that. And yeah, that one, all those videos take much longer. I mean, as you would expect.
And the thing that made me really excited about Grand Empire of the Boys coming in was mostly you, because you were you had a plan. You obviously had a plan. You had a structure, and
Mhm.
because of your confidence in that plan, I was like, I can tell this guy knows exactly what he's doing. I want to follow this guy. Like, I want to, I want to join his cause.
Yeah.
And so then I joined. That was awesome. But really, what I'm trying to say is, a lot of people don't recognize there's a story to this stuff. There's lore, and that's actually what interests me the most, is the lore to it. Speaking
Yeah.
of lore, by the way, I'll cut this part out of the podcast, but I will get you the green screen footage of me fake flying an airplane. I could
Dude,
also
yeah,
tweet it out too.
I do. Yeah, I definitely want that.
Okay.
Yeah, and like up next, I'm probably gonna end this whole current war thing, or
Mhm.
not end it exactly, but like basically like stop making videos about it at least for a while, because I'm gonna shift over to a new thing for us. But I'm gonna end it with like a 12-part series.
Yeah.
Gonna be like a raid on
Mhm.
a palace thing, and that's gonna be my big thing to end the war, kind of on my page at least. I mean, other people can still make it. I'm not gonna like officially end the war because I think there's
But
still
that
more
ends
content.
the Kronos's story.
Yeah,
Kronos.
and I might make more videos on it, but because I also want to do Operation Hype House 2.0, because
Oh, that'd be a
I
good
did
one.
this back in
Lego Star
January.
Wars.
No, this was separate. Back in January, the GBs actually existed since December.
Yeah,
Um,
you told me that.
yeah, we were smaller. We had about 1,000 members, but it was still pretty lively. We had a whole community, and there's still some members left from that community.
And there's other communities. I mean, there's like the GDI or whatever.
Yeah, they're separate. They've been around for a long time, but they're just kind of I don't know. I don't vibe with them anymore. But we GEB actually originated in December, and we actually had insane growth back then too. So there's like a whole lore setup of like TikTok factions, like the GDI, TikTok Heroes. There's some groups like that,
Mm-hmm.
and they've grown very. They maybe get like 10 members a day, and they've been around for like a year and a half, 2 years. So they've eventually grown to the size that they are now. But what happened with us is one night I made a video about it, and we got 50 people when I went to sleep. I was like, oh, 50 people on the server, that's nice. I went to bed and I woke up and we had 1,000. So it was
Really?
like, yeah. So it was like the video got about like 30,000 views and then capped off, but it was just everywhere, like a ton of people joined.
That's
So
insane. I mean,
that's what happened.
1,000 people?
Yeah, and that's what happened with the original blow up of the GEB in the original GEB era. And our conflict back then was our first conflict and our only conflict was Operation Hype House, and it just didn't do too well because we only had 1,000 people, only probably 200 were active ever.
Mm-hmm.
And it just didn't really work out. It I don't know. It just we didn't have enough people, and the community, the atmosphere wasn't right yet. TikTok was still, I mean, the Hype House was still like kind of fresh, so
Mm-hmm.
people weren't tired of it yet as much. But now
Yeah.
I think, I mean, this time we grew 4,000 members in one day.
Because people are tired of this.
Yeah, so I think that now that we have almost 6,000 members and a giant community that everyone knows the GEB now on TikTok. Like a lot of people know what we are. Like you see our profile pictures all over.
Oh, yeah.
All over comment section. So people know who we are. So I think that now we actually have the ability to do like have an impact. To it.
And I'm going to change mine soon. But literally the day you sent that, I had asked an artist who's really nice, small artist, Ali Draws, to make me an Animal Crossing profile picture because I'm gonna try and start streaming Animal Crossing on Twitch soon, just because it's on that level of like, that's like the only video game I feel like I play now, and it'd just be a fun thing to do, I think.
Yeah.
So I asked her to do that for me, and then she made it, sent it to me the same day you sent in the Grand.
Oh yeah, that's fine. I mean, that's.
But I'm definitely, trust me, that will be my profile picture as soon as I get this Animal Crossing thing up and running, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no worries on that.
Sorry, I had to take a little bit of a bathroom break, so there might be a weird cut there. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see how the editing goes tomorrow, I guess. Anyways, we were talking about the GEB, the Grand Empire of the Boys, but I wanted to go into, like, kind of rewind a little bit. When you reached out to me to join the Grand Empire of the Boys, I actually had the message you sent me pulled up. You said something specifically about simping and what you were going to do about simping. That really interested me.
So I think that that specific word has lost a lot of its meaning.
It's meaningless now, almost. Sorry to interrupt you.
It's the same thing like incel.
Yeah.
Like those two words are used too much, and that's what I'm trying to encourage to change on the GEB is to not use it as much and use it rarely. And so I've kind of made a definition where it's like I don't remember exactly, but it's roughly along these lines that it's when you compromise as a guy, you compromise your own self-worth and self-integrity for a female who will not reciprocate that.
Yeah.
So, for instance, like if you buy a girl a bunch of gifts and you're not dating and she doesn't do the same for you, that's simping. If you're dating someone and you exchange gifts at Valentine's, it's not simping. That's just not simping.
And if you're nice to a girl, even if you're dating someone and you do something like overly nice,
it's still not because you're dating.
Yeah.
And like if you're not dating her, if you hold the door open for her, that's not simping. That's just
being respectful. Isn't
being
simping.
A respectful person, but it's when you cross that line, of
treating someone special, like
yes,
especially.
So like when somebody that somebody's in the wrong, but like a girl's in the wrong, but you'll defend her just because you think that it will get you somewhere with her. Even though personally that what she's doing is wrong, then that's also simping. Because you're compromising your own self-integrity.
Exactly.
Yes. So that's what I want to. That's another thing that I want to do, and I've been enforcing that in my server so that people can understand that.
So like, how I want to ask if this is an example of simping, because I was thinking of this, because this is a thing I will own up to this right now. I legitimately used to do this. Are these, I'm going to give you, I guess, like 2 to 3 options here. Two kind of like 2 of the things are kind of the same thing. So if you're on the For You page, you see an attractive girl and you like comment something on her post to try and get her attention that's flirtatious. Is that simping?
It honestly depends on the comment and the context of the video. So like for instance, I saw a guy and he commented like hard eyes or whatever, and it's like that's not simping by itself. But then I went on her page and he commented the same thing under 6 videos. That's crossing the line and that's simping. But if you're just shooting your shot, no.
Yeah.
It's when you like persist. So like for instance, if it's like you go under like 6 different posts and comment stuff, then that's weird. But if you like DM a girl or comment a girl, be like you're cute or whatever, that's not simping. I mean, we're not gonna be single. Like you still gotta shoot your shot. You still gotta
exactly.
You still gotta do stuff like that. But it's when you persist and you
when there's obviously no
exactly
reciprocation.
When you okay, let's say you're on Snapchat and you slide up on a girl's story and you put hard eyes and then she says haha thanks. Like you should know then
Then you should be like, okay,
don't do it again. Then you just don't do it again. If you keep doing it every time she posts a selfie, then you're simping. But if but if she says like, "Oh, thanks you too," then you can keep doing it because there's clearly something there. But if she says like, "Ha thanks," or like, TKX,
or I mean, even if you get the opposite response of no, like, what are you doing, loser? Sometimes she could just be messing with you.
That's true too. But yeah, but definitely if it's like a not interested response, just don't do it again. Because there's clearly no interest, and when you persist, that's when you're compromising your own self-integrity.
Yeah,
that's the whole deciding factor.
Exactly. So then the other thing is, so comment's one thing, but imagine seeing a girl and making a video shooting her shot. Now, I guess what you just said about simping kind of makes that, that's not simping if you do it once. I guess if you made multiple videos, that would be simping.
Yeah.
Yeah, with no response too. But my question is, if a guy goes on TikTok, not the internet, and makes a video like, "Oh, I'm single, boyfriend application. I mean, girlfriend application." Is that simping, or is that like, because that's a weird?
Not really. It's just pathetic.
Yeah.
It's not really simping in the fact that you're compromising your self-integrity, self-worth. It's just like, I don't know. I just look down upon it myself. But I mean, I understand. Like, it's not simping, but it's just weird. Like in its own right.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Exactly. Sorry, I'm kind of flustered. In the middle of this conversation, this girl just kind of like, I don't know, said something. Not bad, like good, but like still, you have to.
Yeah, it catches you off guard.
You got to like plan it out. Like, I need the right response.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking in my head right now. I said thank you. I think I'm just gonna leave it at that.
What did she say to you?
Dude, I forgot what I said to her, but she responded with, "That's one quality I admire about you."
Yeah, a thank you. Thank you is a good one.
That's what I said, thank you, and then did the little like typed out smiley face. According to my female cousins who are like around my age, that's what girls like.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty decent response.
Yeah, apparently emojis are too intense. And I totally get that, actually. I think emojis are really only used for memes now. Like, when I use emojis, I'm only ever using them ironically, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't really like using emojis. I usually do it ironically, and occasionally I'll use, like, ones that people don't use much. Like, I like to use if I do use an emoji, I like the sunglasses one just because it's funny. I don't know. I don't know why I like the sunglasses one. I usually use it like as a smug thing. Like whenever I feel smug, like I'll comment that.
I'll somehow edit this into the podcast. By the way, this will somehow get
okay. And I'll use the Space Invaders emoji. I don't know why, but I use that one sometimes. But yeah, it's mostly ironic.
I use one that's like, I guess, ironic that I use is the if you look at all my recent emojis, I could go down a whole list, but the one where it's like the guy with the eyes open, like where it's like you can't see my
Oh,
face,
yep, yeah.
but I
He's
think you know what I'm
blushing.
saying.
He's
So I
blushing.
use that one a lot. Like he do be grilling though or something, you know, like just like
Yeah,
for memes or like gamer hours, then I'll put the little cool face after it. Or like, you know, like I mean anything. I yeah. The only I feel like I kind of sometimes use the do you know how like the remember the but I'm shy trend?
I
And how
hate
people
that one so much.
I know but how
Oh,
people
I
would
use it
use that
ironically. Yeah,
emoji.
yeah. I'll use it ironically.
When we were in the trend, I actually used it seriously, and then eventually I just was like, "Oh my god, this is actually really weird." Like
Yeah, it's
looking
kind
at
of
the
cringy.
emoji, like thinking about it, I'm just like, "Oh." And then I use it ironically, but it's great. I love it.
Yeah, I do like when they introduce new ones because there's something different. But I try to refrain from using them.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. So I mean, so what? Let's just talk about you, like away from TikTok. Quarantine, man. This time's so weird, and I know people keep saying that, and teachers and adults and people they keep saying this time is so weird. This time is so weird because for us, we know like this is gonna be a moment people read about. Like it just feels surreal.
Yeah,
Because like, you know, other people have been through similar stuff, but it doesn't feel like the way it feels right now.
yeah.
I don't know if it's because of the internet or what, but like just what's your thoughts on not like political thoughts, but like what's your
Yeah.
thoughts on stuff?
I'm honestly, I think that people aren't handling it well. I definitely think that not to get, I'm not like mentioning my politics, but it's definitely changed. This is just saying it changed my politics. Like seeing
Yeah.
the way that people have acted changed my politics.
Yeah.
Because I saw that people just straight up cannot be trusted with their own safety.
Yeah.
Um, because I see people gathering in groups of 5,000 to protest stuff. Like I understand, you think your rights are being infringed, but it's a state of emergency. Like there's a reason why you're supposed to stay in.
And I
Um,
get it. You know, it's weird because in humanities class, we're reading about humanities. Do you have humanities at your school?
I have in college.
All right. So yeah, humanities is in my high school, but it's like history and English basically.
Sorry.
Uh, I mean to put it really, really simply. So in that class right now, we're studying the Universal Declaration of Human Rights,
Hmm.
and it's weird reading these rights, man. About like, you know, I guess you could say they are infringing on their rights, but it's almost like there's a point in life where you need to look yourself in the mirror and go, I'm gonna make the choice with the rights I know I have, and with what I know the government's doing. I know I could go outside. I know I could go do all that stuff. I'm gonna choose to stay here so that I can get
Exactly.
outside again
And
so
that's
I can live safer.
and I see like a lot of people saying, safety above or freedom above safety. And
Mm-hmm.
I used to be like that, but I'm not anymore because I realize that the needs of the many is better than the wants of a few.
Dude,
So
me too. At the
yeah,
beginning of this thing, I was like, it's like this is just Ebola, the sequel.
it's much worse. Even though it's less lethal, it is much worse in the fact that its R naught
It's
factor is
spreading
5.
more. It's just everywhere, and no one knows how to get rid. It's no one's finding a way to get rid of it. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
that's the
But
craziest part.
I'm actually not doing too bad because I prefer staying inside and working on doing stuff on my computer anyways, and this is just giving me opportunities to make content and stuff.
But
Um,
like, so not to get too personal here, but do you have like siblings or anything?
no, I actually don't. Just my parents. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, do you enjoy the time like where you just get to chill? You know, like by
Uh,
yourself in your room, like no
yeah,
work,
I definitely do, and
no
I do get that, which is nice.
yeah.
They let me do that. I mean, they don't. I hang out with them too, though, and I've got some more opportunities like go shoot, go to shooting range. With my dad.
Hmm.
That's always nice because, I mean, been years since we last did that. We just but we've gotten out a couple times already, so it's nice because I really enjoy shooting. I really like guns. Like, I'm not saying that in like a sadistic way, but I just I like guns, and I like being able to shoot them, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a hobby that I like. So
yeah, like for me personally, I don't love guns. I don't know if I'll ever shoot one, but like I can understand why other people like them and feel, it looks like everything I've seen it in, every type of media, like it looks like, it is a good way.
It's like any other thing where you're doing something and you want to get good at it. No matter what you're doing, you want to get good at it. It's the same thing with that, and it's a lot of fun, when you're shooting all day and then you hit that bullseye. You keep, because I have like a small assault rifle, and like when you shoot so many hits on the bullseye that the bullseye falls out, like that feels good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it is a lot harder than what it looks like. I mean, it definitely is. Because not to get so when you're shooting a gun, like, you notice how the sights are above the barrel.
I like shot a BB gun once, so like yeah, kind of.
So you know how sights on guns are above the barrel, like they has to be. Well, you aim the sight right at the target. Now, if the sight was straight up parallel with the barrel, you'd be shooting under it by like an inch every single time. So the sights are actually angled, very small angled. But that angle, so like, let's say it's optimized for 200 yards away. At 200 yards, if you aim that sight, it's angled just enough to where the barrel and the sight triangulate at that point. So that's how sights work. So the whole reason why shooting is so hard, one of the main reasons why shooting is so hard, is that you have to know how far away you are, so that you can, because like you don't adjust the sights like when you're on the field. Because I do like operator courses where there's a target, 20 yards away, there's a target 50 yards away, there's a target 100 yards away, whatever. So you don't change the sights when you're shooting. So you have to be able to, and I use iron sights. So you have to be able to aim at that first target. So like I usually zero in at like the medium target. So I zero in where you set your sights for that. You zero in at the medium target. So you got to aim, what would it be? I'm trying to think. You'd aim down on the first few targets, and then you'd aim up on the very far away targets. So you gotta like know that. You gotta be able to tell distances just by looking at stuff. Wind is actually a huge factor, especially with bigger rounds. And actually smaller rounds, sorry, especially the smaller rounds.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. I mean, you got to keep your gun clean. Gun safety is huge, and it's just, there's a lot of things you got to think about. And it's nice that you get to that point when you're shooting, it all goes together at once. Yeah, and that's where, in movies it make it look so easy, but in reality there's so much to it. And when you're walking, dude, that gun is shaking so much. Like, it's just shaking so much, and that's why it's so hard to master that. That's why the Army does boot camps for 2 months, because it does actually take a long time to master stuff like that.
Would you ever want to, like do it, like be a police officer of some sorts, or
not police officer? I was thinking about joining the Air Force, but I would join the Air National Guard. But I'm not interested in any kind of law enforcement, really. I'm definitely gonna join a militia wherever I move to. There's actually militias all over. You just gotta look them up. But there's actually militias.
Really know. I don't even really I've heard of militias. I don't really 100%.
It's like a citizen, so it's like citizens get together and basically, train once a month together, and it's just, for a couple of different cases. So the militia was actually really the reason why we won the American Revolution. It's just citizens getting together and fighting. It's like a citizen army, a makeshift citizen army. So militias now are used for just in case, a foreign threat does invade, where the second line of defense, or if, the government, somebody takes power in the government, like a Hitler, you can actually fight back, and the militia is used for that. That's the point of the militia. So it's like a citizen's army. It
reminds me like the rebellion from Star Wars. But it's break in case of emergency, in case we need people to be Luke Skywalker.
It's like an
Han
emergency
Solo,
rebellion.
got him.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly that, really.
Yeah, I mean that sounds cool. Aren't there militias though that are like violent? Like,
yeah, so like Middle Eastern militias,
mm-hmm.
for instance, they consider those militias, and yeah, those can be violent because you got to look at it like there's a militia I think called the Free Syrian Militia, and really what they are doing is fighting for what they believe in their country. So in a sense, they're just a militia like us. They just believe different things, and they're fighting against their government, because they want a theocracy. So that's what they want. So when a democracy comes in, they see, well, this isn't our country, so this is a power that isn't us, so we got to get rid of it. So it's the same idea as us. It's just a different culture, different ideals, but same idea.
You are blowing, my mind right now, man.
I am into a lot of world affairs and stuff like that.
Well, I think that's cool because personally, and it's not because I don't like, it's not because I don't respect what politics have done for us as a human society, but I just try to, I've always been more of a person who's been like art over everything. I just want to make art. I want to make stuff. And if politics have to come into play, if someone tries to stop that, I'll fight back. But I want to keep politics away from, I feel like politics just causes.
Yeah, and I used to be more like that, but with science. So I just cared about science and progressing humanity with inventions. But then I kind of realized it doesn't matter what we do with science if it all falls down because of politics.
Yeah, because the smart decisions need to be made.
You have to have your politics right, and you have to have your society right before you can worry about advancing the society.
Yeah, and the thing is, here's the thing. I could have invited you on the podcast today, and I come from a pretty liberal family. I don't know what type of background you come from, but they don't really love guns. And so when you brought up you liked guns, I could have said, oh, my family doesn't really like guns. I don't really like guns, pop off and just stop or whatever. But instead, I think what people need to do more is just say, hey,
listen.
Let me hear about that. What's your experience with guns? Because no, not everyone's a sadistic lunatic once they get an AR in their hands.
Exactly.
It depends on the type of person, and you need to hear everyone out.
And that's so. I'll just say I'm authoritarian right wing. So I consider myself a statist. I don't know who a statist is. So a statist is authoritarian right wing. Most right wings that you see are libertarian right wing, and that's what I used to be. Honestly, before coronavirus, that's what converted me. But one thing that I agree with multiple other political things, so I agree with, libertarian rights and even communist lefts on this issue, is we all believe that people should have guns. Karl Marx, I read Marx stuff and I disagree with him, but I read it because I want to know. When somebody talks to me about that stuff, when a communist talks about it, I want to know what they're talking about. I disagree with it, but I want to know what they're talking about. Karl Marx actually wrote that that the workers must be armed under no pretense should you disarm the workers. The workers are the people in his writings. And that's the whole point, that the citizens have to have that, because the citizens have to have the power. Because as soon as you take away, and he was advocating for people to have exactly what the government has. Because as soon as you take that power away from the people, then really they're just puppets. Really they have no say in anything. Because, we have a vote or whatever, but what if they decide to take away the vote? What are we going to do if we have nothing to fight back with? That's my whole reason for wanting guns. If it was just, if there was no issue with that, it was just, guns are just for enjoyment, then I would take away guns to save lives, sure. But that's not the reason why. That's not the reason why I want to keep guns around. The reason why I want to keep guns around is so that we have the power still.
So it's almost like if there was something that was nonviolent that could replace the type of, almost symbol that a gun is to the people, which is having that power to be able to pull the trigger any moment, to be able to go, almost Old West style, whoa, buddy. We both have something here that can end both of our lives very quickly, and I know we both have a lot on the line, you know, you have something that's the quote-unquote power. If there was some non-violent method, that would be
But the entire issue is the government will always have weapons because they have to protect us from other governments or from outside forces, from any kind of outside forces. So if the government has that violent force available, they will use it if they're not in our interest, which is the whole reason why we have guns. If the government no longer acts in our interest, then we use the guns. That's the whole point. And the government will always possess violent means, which are weapons, just because and they will use them to preserve their own interests if they're not acting in our interest. And that's just human nature. And there's nothing you can do to change it, in my opinion. I think that a lot of things like this come down to human nature. And that's one of the reasons why I don't agree with like communism, because human nature doesn't allow communism to work, which is why I don't believe in communism, like anarcho-communism, the Karl Marx-esque communism, because humans need something to strive to achieve for. Like you want to achieve something, you know, you in American society, you want to get rich, you want to get a nice house, you want to, you know what I mean? So, and that's why people work. That's why people work hard. But in an anarcho-communist society, what are you working for? You know, there's no, the whole reason why the USSR lasted at all was because they said, if you don't work, then we'll just kill you. So they were working because of a threat, but in an anarcho-communist society, the government can't do that. So why would anyone work? If everyone gets the same stuff and working doesn't give you anything extra, working harder doesn't give you anything extra, then effectively, why are you working? I mean, I don't want to go to work, but I go to work because then I can buy things. But if you're already getting the same things as the guy next to you, it doesn't matter if you're working 10 times as hard as the guy next to you in an anarcho-communist society. If you're working 10 times harder than the guy next to you, you will still have the same phone. You will still live in the same house. You will still eat the same food. So why work harder? Or why work at all?
There's some really interesting short stories. I bet you've read them about, I'm blanking on the name of one I'm thinking of specifically right now.
Who are they by?
I don't know, dude. Like, I don't know authors. I just know stories and stuff kind of stick with me. It's very different for films. Like, I know directors. I just don't know authors. This one's pretty famous, so you probably heard of it. It's just where everyone is lowered to the same, like, you know, everyone has to have certain modulations or cover up certain parts of their face so everyone is just as beautiful as the next person.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
There's also a video game about that.
And someone made a short film, actually, too. Now that I'm thinking of it, it's on.
I think there's actually a full-length movie like that too, similar to that.
Oh my god, yeah, it's pretty. Like, it's a pretty famous.
Yeah, and I think that it is true, and that's why I can never ever prescribe to something like that, because simply I just don't think it can work.
A person can't live like that.
Human nature. We need competition. That's why, you know, some people are for like a one world society, and I'm against that wholeheartedly, because the same thing applies. The reason why nations, you know, strive to get better is because we are at constant competition with other countries. Now, if there's no countries and it's just one country, who are we competing against? The only way that humanity could ever combine into one world is if an outside force threatened us, like aliens. You know, if there was aliens. Then,
have you read Watchmen?
Yes.
Oh,
that's what he was trying to do.
Love Watchmen.
Yes, that's what he was trying to do.
That ending was great, I thought.
Yeah, that's exactly what that guy was trying to do, but it's just not in human nature. You know, if we were different beings, maybe, but we're not. I mean, there's nothing you can do about that.
If you have HBO, you should watch the follow-up, because it's just like, I mean, it just shows that even though that alien came and the world worked together for that brief period of time, eventually just
humanity always requires competition. That's why, you know, you have sports. That's why you have everything. That's why you have video games. But you always require some form of competition. Some people can strive from inner competition, but frankly, that's why nations have to exist, and that's why teams have to exist. That's why sides exist. And that's why without teams and allegiances and stuff like that, humanity just falls.
Mhm.
So you need something like that. And yeah, so that's why I definitely believe in nations, having
And
nation identity, because you need competition.
yeah, I totally get that. I mean, competition is one way to put it, and it's not even like there's no right way to put it at all. But how
Mhm.
I've always looked at it is it's always about the journey. The story is the journey.
Yeah.
If that makes sense in any type of way,
No, yeah.
every human is point A, point B. And then if you look at it, like, I'm at point A, I want to get to point B. Then once you get to point B, maybe you're one of those people who you have that gratification for a few hours, and then you're like, I'm ready to go next thing. Or maybe you're that person who's like, I'm going to enjoy this for a few days and then let reality kick back in. But there needs to be a point B if everyone has the same thing, if everyone, if some
Exactly. Yeah,
people
you have
aren't,
to
if
have
there's
a
no
goal.
disagreement, if there's no varied opinion, varied variety of people, it just takes away the culture of the world. It takes away
And it takes away
force of the
progress,
world.
because like, if we had a one world government, what would be the point in doing anything?
Mm-hmm.
What would be the point in advancing any kind of technology? What would be the point of, really anything? There's zero point, because it's all the same. It's all universal. There's no sides to anything. There's just one, and it doesn't work. Not with humans. That's why in every robotic movie, like iRobot, the robots are convinced that, basically one thing being in charge and having everything under one. That's why there's the singularity of robots.
Mm-hmm.
In Terminator, all the robots are on one side together, thinking as one mind, but we're not robots. And that's why robots are always against humans in movies, like in the robots, because they believe, that there should only be one, but humans can't accept that.
Dude, I'm going to recommend a movie to you right now that you are going to love. Like 100% going to love. It's on Netflix. It just got added to Netflix. It's an A24 movie. I love A24.
I've actually watched A24 movies. Yes, quite a few.
Yes, two of these movies. I don't know if you've seen them. Ex Machina.
Ah, Ex Machina. I've heard great things, and I've always wanted to watch it, but I've never got around to it. So
Dude,
yes.
I watched it for the first time yesterday. There were points where that movie got so intense and got just so overwhelming for me, just with anxiety and all this buildup. And this, just, not even that there was anything super suspenseful when I would pause, just that there was always this looming suspense of
Yeah.
something's gonna happen and it's gonna be bad, and I don't want to watch that right now, so I'm gonna pause and come back later.
Yeah.
But that movie is almost exactly what you're talking. Watch that, and then also another movie called The Enemy, which just recently got added to Netflix. Really good. And then if you're interested in something about workers, this is really about workers. I'll explain this movie to you and tell me what you think, because it's very interesting. And I'm going to pose a question at the end of it. It's called The Moon. The Earth finds a source on the moon called helium-3. It can power the world. It's everyone uses it, but they need one person up there for maintenance of the machines that are doing all the work. But they just need one person to be up there to do maintenance. So they send one guy up there. He goes up there for 3 years and gets his contract done. Boom. That's what posed to you at the beginning of the movie. That doesn't sound terrible. I mean, I think 3 years is a little long, but it doesn't sound terrible. What gets revealed to you in the movie is that the guy that you're watching is actually a clone of the first guy that went. And the clones only have a lifespan of really 3 years. And they each get pitched this same story. They get the same videos from the wife that the original clone got. So they get to relive the exact same orchestrated experience, but they're cut off from live communication. They only get videos. And then once they go in the
What's the purpose in
extraction
having?
pod on the last day, they die.
Okay.
Yeah. And a new clone gets picked out, and it's an insane movie.
I actually like that concept a lot. That's a really good concept.
But do you think it's the whole thing at the end is should the clones be considered human? They have all the same emotions,
That's always been a. I think yes. Well, it depends. I don't really know that question, and I've been pitched that question a lot, and it's like, well, then do we consider super intelligent robots humans? Because we created them, and they can think like a human. It's like,
what makes something human? What makes someone human?
I think it's rational thought, emotion, and or reasoning, emotion, and some kind of and connections, like the ability to make connections. And it's like, well, if we make a robot be able to have all those, then it's human.
Have you ever read Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
Yes.
Dude, like, so that's kind of the plot of Ex Machina, where it's like the guy's going in to do one of those tests to see, well, he knows it's a robot going in. This isn't a plot twist. The whole twist I thought it was going to be is I thought the one human who was there with the guy was actually the robot the whole time. And that was going to be the twist, but I was wrong. But he gets told he's the robot, and it's like, okay, go talk to this robot. You're going to report back data to me, and there's a test, and we're going to see if it's human enough to be considered, life.
Yeah.
And because robots, I mean, essentially, I guess if you don't charge their batteries, but they could essentially be immortal. So
yeah,
is
exactly.
that really
so
fair?
They're like
It's something is without
humans.
death.
I mean, and if theoretically, and they're already working on it, you could download a human brain and put it into a computer, and it would work as the human brain.
But here's the question. Is that the same brain? So say I die tomorrow for some reason, they put my brain in a robot. Are they taking my brain, or are they copying and pasting the code
exactly,
of my
and
brain into the device?
That's a question that I don't think can be answered.
Is it still me, or just a simulated version of me?
That's why I don't think it can be answered. It's just
like, have you seen Inception?
Yes.
I know it's kind of getting a little sidetracked here, but I'm loving this, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So in Inception, the big ending is, spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen it, it's on Netflix, go watch it, it's great. He's with his wife in his subconscious. She wants him to stay, and he goes, I could never imagine you in all your full beauty, your with all your perfection and imperfection and everything that's wrong and right with you. You're only just a shade of my wife. You're not the whole person she was.
Yeah.
And is that essentially the same thing as downloading my brain into a computer after I die? Is it just going to be a shade of me? Or am I literally going to feel like you've taken the human soul out of me and put it into a machine?
Yeah, I mean, and I don't think we'll know until we do it. That's the thing. And I don't even know if we'll know then.
And I mean, the whole question of do robots dream is really important, because I think having dreams and having those thoughts that almost aren't controlled by you but feel like they're coming from something externally, where you get those ideas or those random bursts of information, that's what makes you human. Those subconscious thoughts. If that makes any sense. I know it's
it definitely does. And I think that we kind of have to progress before we can even get to that point where we because I think there's that's one of those things, like philosophers, they thought about issues that we think of trivial now, but in 200 years, stuff that we're talking about will be thought of trivial then. It'll be taught in philosophy classes.
Have you ever heard of Stoicism?
Yes, Stoicism. Or is it Stoicism?
I think it's pronounced Stoicism. I mean, my dad's been studying it a ton recently, and he pronounced it Stoicism.
You might be right then.
I watched this great lecture he sent me, actually, from like the 80s on it. It's great. I'll send it to you. But that's a really interesting concept of being it's so hard to explain, but almost making no excuses for yourself as a person. So regardless of what happens, every time being able to say, I used all that was around me. I am using all my resources. I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. I'm doing all the things I'm exactly supposed to be doing at every single time, which I don't know if I 100% agree with, but I think personally my philosophy is just go with what feels right to you. don't try to impress other people with your
Oh
decision.
yeah, definitely. I think that you should stick to your own, your own compass and what you think is right.
Yeah, your
Um,
ideology, whatever it is. You just
exactly. Yeah.
it's
Develop something for yourself.
yeah, and I mean there's plenty of labels you can put on it, like liberal left, conservative, right.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why it gets confusing and people love to, associate themselves with certain things.
Because
But
you're joining a team. You're a part of a team. You
yeah,
feel like you're a part of
mhm,
something, and that's
exactly.
nice. People, I love being a part of a community. I've been part of plenty of communities, but it's
Oh
just
yeah, being part of a community is the best thing ever. I mean,
exactly. I mean, I'm part of GEB.
yeah,
Boom.
I love the GEV. I mean, it's
I
my
love it.
place now. And especially during quarantine, it's really got me
Oh
through,
my god, yeah. That movie night, we need to do more of those, man.
Yeah, definitely. We're doing some new events soon, so.
Oh yeah, we should definitely do. I mean, is anyone dropping any? We could do like a listening party for someone who's dropping an album for like a certain group of fans. There's plenty of. I mean, now how many people did you say were in the GEB?
About 6,000 now.
Yeah, I mean now there's like an audience, and I mean just like you, I see their profile pictures in every comment section now. I feel like
Yeah.
so it's a strong army. It's mighty, man. People are gonna notice soon enough.
Yeah,
White
definitely.
people
I
are
hope
gonna
so.
notice.
I want us to be a strong force.
Exactly. I mean, but also for you, I guess there's another question is obviously the Ethought Wars going on right now.
Yeah.
Is the label of not thought, thought, Ethought, is that a permanent label? You can't escape that? Is that something you've done
No, you can
once you've
escape
done
it.
it?
It's just your current actions.
It's just you kind of got to be like almost acknowledge it and be like, yep, okay, I'm a thought.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even if you're a simp, I feel like if you acknowledge, okay, I was simping that one time. Like, there are plenty of times I can think of from years back that where I can be like, yep, I was being a simp then for sure, but I'm not a simp right now. Does
Yeah.
that make any
Exactly.
sense?
No, yeah, definitely. You can definitely change. I mean, I used to be a simp. And I think
I think everyone has at one point in their life.
most guys you have been at one point. I mean, you just gotta learn your way out of it.
I can think of one specific time in 8th grade, man. I kept complaining to this girl who had a boyfriend, by the way, at the time, really into her, that I was so sad because I was going to spend Valentine's Day alone. So I think because she
Yeah.
felt so much pity for me, she wrote me a letter. And I took that as like and she said,
Oh
I love
yeah.
you at the end of it too, and all this stuff. And I was so excited. So I spent the whole night writing a letter back to her. And then guess what happened? I got my first, this is so cringy, but I had my first victory royale in Fortnite. So it was a huge deal in the house. We were like cheering. It was great. Everyone was happy. I told my parents, I told my brothers, and I just did not get the same love back ever. Like it never even.
Yeah.
It was always very one-sided. But that is a very, like 8th grade, middle school specifically. Yeah, I can think of plenty of times. Like we've all been there at one point, boys. If that makes you feel any better, I can admit and give plenty of examples if that makes you feel better.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think all guys can, and you just gotta
Yeah,
get out of it.
you get out of it. Simping, what people need to realize is simping's a phase.
Mm-hmm.
Simping's a. Oh, but speaking of TikTok terms, and I guess this also extends to Twitter and everywhere, this is something that I think is really just a lot of people have been talking about. Cancel culture. How do you feel about cancel
Oh,
culture?
it's stupid and it should not. I miss the internet in like 2015 when cancel culture didn't exist and it was more free range and you could speak your opinions without threatening of losing your job.
Yeah, dude, I was talking to my parents, and we were just watching The Office, like The Office, which I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's a show, like it's a show my family watches together with both my younger brothers and my parents, who are like around my siblings and me. Even they don't really want to watch anything inappropriate for some reason. But like, there's stuff on that, like episode 2, Diversity Day. There's plenty of examples in that episode where I'm like, if that show came out today, there would be a like Steve Carell is over party trending on Twitter with tens of thousands of
Oh
K-pop
yeah, I
fan
mean,
cams and BS and
Yeah, exactly. That's why, yeah, it's such an
It
issue now.
happens so often, and it sucks because I look back on all the great TV shows of the past, everything great, and it's almost weird because almost at the same time that TikTok's having this decline of like, this isn't the same as what it used to be. It feels like everything past literally last summer, the end of last summer, like just kind of in the entertainment industry, it's just like, okay, another Fast and Furious movie. Okay, another Marvel movie that's going to be exactly the same. You know,
Yeah, yeah. It's become sort of bland almost.
and everything's becoming, and it sucks, just too, I'm trying to think of the word, focus grouped.
Oh
Like
yeah, they definitely only want certain demographics for certain things, and I think that they should broaden their audiences.
they really do need to.
Yeah.
I mean, like TikTok too, like it's really messed up that there was like that whole thing about TikTok saying that they in the code or whatever. I didn't really get the whole situation, but I know that there was something where TikTok was limiting unattractive people's
Yeah,
posts.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was based upon um it wasn't like it was scanning their faces or anything. It was based upon their actual comments and stuff, what the comments pertain to.
Really?
So if the comments were complimenting people on their looks, it would boost those posts. And if the comments had nothing to do with looks or anything, it would actually reduce those posts. And
So
that's
it's
one of the
really
reasons why,
more
like,
about your online looks, if that
yeah,
makes sense. Like not like what your profile picture looks like or what your videos look like or what you look like even, but how your online avatar, if you were to add up all the troll comments you put out or how you treat
yeah,
up
exactly.
the body attitude you use online.
Hmm.
That's like if your online profile is going to be ugly to the internet gods, then
Exactly. Yeah, if
you're not
they
going to
think
show
you're
up.
ugly, then yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, what do you have like I don't want to cite you or anything, but like, where'd you hear that from? Because I heard.
I think it was on it was I think it was a reliable source. I don't really remember. It was kind of an older article, but um it was a smaller like news organization.
Yeah.
I can't quite remember. It was like I think it was one of those tech sites, like those tech sites that like IGN but for tech.
Yeah.
Um, it was some site like that, and it was pretty reliable. So it's just like stuff like that isn't like mainstream like importance. So I
Inside
don't.
edition, maybe.
No, it wasn't IE.
Okay. It's fine. I just wanted to know because
I
like
mean, yeah, don't quote me on that, but yeah, that's what I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Is that's how they were determining. They weren't like face scanning people to see like the bone structure or anything. It was based upon your interactions.
for real.
Yeah, so even if you were attractive, if all your comments were about how good your video were and you had no comments about your attractiveness, it wouldn't get boosted as much. It didn't. It was all about how people commented on your attractiveness.
Mm-hmm. So it's all about. It wasn't even about your actions, I guess. I guess what I said now is null and void. It was about how other people perceived you.
Yeah, it's all about how other people perceived you, like in your comment sections. It wasn't about how you. Yeah, it wasn't about what you said. It's about what they said. So if everyone in your comment section was talking about, wow, this is a great video, you spent a lot of time on editing, you could be like the most attractive person in the world. If nobody said something about that, they would disregard it. And that's what came to rise with a lot of these people who have zero talent and are attractive. That's one of the reasons why they got so popular.
Mm-hmm.
Because TikTok was actively promoting them. Because like Addison Rae, she doesn't get any comments about how good her content is. She gets comments about how pretty she is. So
Yeah.
there you go.
I mean, that's what the whole hype house is, really.
Exactly. I mean, there's literally a clip of that Thomas dork saying that, and I made an edit of it. That was one of my first edits, saying that they have a certain amount of attractive people, so now they need people who can dance better. Like it's just like, come on, I don't. It's just yeah. That's the one of the issues with TikTok and why I want to do this whole Operation High Best thing.
Yeah, I get that, man.
All right. Do you think that it's been good so I can like finish up this presentation? I think we got about an hour in.
All right, cool. Yeah, that was perfect. All right. My boy has to go do his thing, work on a presentation. I have some homework too. So Chris, what do you want to plug at the end besides obviously the awesome stuff you do, but what do you want to plug?
Uh,
Anyone too, like you can plug people.
I definitely want to plug well, I want to plug the GV first because that's my main focus right now.
The Discord link will be in the bio, and I'm gonna
Yep.
make a little end card for it too. So.
I also want to plug all of my like friends that I've made through TikTok specifically. And I have interactions with them a lot. Like people like Ooga Booga Capitalist have actually challenged my opinions a lot. And one of
Dude,
the
I
reasons why,
love that guy.
yeah,
I want
one
to
of the
get to
reasons
know
why
him.
I
If he
have
can
a lot
somehow
of the
connect
opinions I
me,
do.
like he's cool. He's a cool dude. I'd love that if I want to have all the GEB people on the podcast.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be a great podcast.
Yeah. Oh,
Ooga Booga. I'm
Blake.
not tall at all. Actually, made one of the best edits I've ever seen for this.
I mean, I love Blake. I'm a little impartial to Blake just because I've
Balake, yeah, I love Balake so much too.
Yeah, he's
He
great.
posts great content. He's a funny guy, and he's along in my community of like humor.
Yeah. B Civvy
Yeah,
cosplay.
BCB cosplay, yeah, definitely him. He is one of the best cosplayers on this app, and he produces his own armor.
It's
And
insane too. The
he's a
quality.
very down to earth guy.
He's super nice.
Super nice. Oh yeah, he's one of the only people that I'll go into his live and watch the whole thing, just because
Mhm.
he's nice to talk to and he's got a great vibe to him. So I'd say those are some of my favorite people that I want to.
All right, I'm gonna plug my boy Chris real quick. Emperor Kronos. Thanks for being on here. All of his info's in the bio.
Anytime, man.